Well, U.S. military officials say that the United States will continue to share information with the Taliban. They claim that this coordination has allowed the Taliban to help prevent some attacks. The intelligence we provide is cut down, but many remain skeptical and question whether we should trust them with this sensitive information. For more insight on this strategy, we go now to retired U.S. Army Lieutenant Colonel Daniel Davis. Colonel, you know, really, it's kind of a fascinating argument because you look at what's happening on the ground, and I want to play this soundbite from the commander of U.S. CENTCOM, General Kenneth McKenzie Jr., who says that he expects more attacks, right, in Kabul airport, but the U.S. is preparing. Listen to what he says, and I'll get your response on the backside.
Includes reaching out to the Taliban, who are actually providing the outer security cordon around the airfield, to make sure they know what we expect them to do to protect us. And we will continue to coordinate with them as they go forward.
Coordinate with them as we go forward. Colonel, what do you think about the sharing of intel?
Look, right now, the absolute mission number one is to get all of our people out as safely as we can and keep all of the rest of the American forces and our allied forces safe as well, so that what happened today, if there's any way at all we can keep from happening, that's what we need to do. And look, we got to come to grips. We lost this war, and the fact that the Taliban is actually willing to cooperate with us and work together with us to any degree is something we should absolutely seize, because it's going to keep our people alive. And I'm all for anything that's going to keep Americans alive and get our people out of there safely. And look, it's also important for what may come forward. If we ever hope to have any influence on how they govern and what they do with minority rights and with women and all the things that we care about, we have to have some leverage with them. And we're not going to have any leverage if we don't talk to them. So I think that there's a lot of potential here, and we should milk it for all it's worth.
Yeah, you say keeping Americans alive is really job number one. By the way, we're looking at a live look, Kabul, Afghanistan, about 10 o'clock in the morning, just after 10 o'clock in the morning there. Texas Congressman Roger Williams said the following here: all the while, the Biden administration was handing over the names of U.S. citizens and allies still in the country to the Taliban. A remarkable yet entirely believable action by a president who's demonstrated more trust in the Taliban than in our own intelligence community. And, of course, the congressman is talking about the fact that we know, dating back to April, Colonel, that, you know, intel was saying, look, that Afghanistan could fall very rapidly, and those warnings apparently were ignored. This concept of giving names to the Taliban, our enemy for the past 20 years, to help shepherd Americans out, you think what about, sir?
Look, again, I'm for anything that keeps Americans alive. And I think that a lot of that criticism is a little bit overblown, quite frankly, because there was some intelligence assessments that suggested that the Taliban could make a lot more rapid gains than they did, but it was one of many, and most of them said that they would last anywhere from as few as 30 and as many as 9 months, 30 days, or as much as 9 months before they may fall. And it was certainly not a guaranteed. I don't think anybody can claim that they knew that the entire apparatus of the Afghan government and military would simultaneously collapse in about an 11-day period and not even fight the Taliban when they came in there. So if we can talk to our enemy and it can help get our people out safely so that it reduces the amount of casualties, that's a good thing. And I'm telling you, I think that we should do it if it keeps us alive and our people safe.
What about post-August 31? What about when the Americans are all gone and the Taliban still have those lists of Afghan allies and Americans? What about then?
Well, I'd like to see exactly what they're talking about, because I'm not aware of giving any lists of that nature that's going to be going on. From what I understand, the list and the names have been given to people that we want to get out right now, not that we're going to worry about letting them have access to them before. If that is the case, that's beyond what I'm aware of. But again, like I said a second ago, we want to have any leverage over the Taliban to not take these kind of reprisals after we leave, then we got to have something to have leverage with them with, and that means give and take. So there's some things that are unpalatable, but look, we got to come to grips that we lost this, and we don't get to just call all the shots anymore. So we got to do what we have with our leverage to get the best outcome for our country.
Jen Psaki was asked about trust today of the Taliban, and she said this. Colonel, watch.
Again, this is not about trust. This is not about relying on the Taliban as an equal partner. No one is suggesting that. But because they control large swaths of the country, including a lot of the security perimeters around the airport, we have to coordinate with them in order to get people out. We'll continue to do that.
But in fact, they are an equal partner, maybe even more than an equal partner, and we are trusting them. We're trusting them with our people.
Well, they're not an equal partner. The reality is they own all of Kabul,
so they're more than an equal partner. I mean, Colonel, they're more. So if they own all of Kabul,
at least it's not an equal partner. It's the reality that they're there, and the alternative is that we don't work with them at all, and potentially they even turn against us, which would tremendously compound the situation. So we trust ourselves, and we have this cordon inside inside the airport, and we trust our people. We don't trust them. If we can work with them and they can help us, terrific, we'll take that. But we don't trust them in terms of we will get our people out, we will provide our security for our people, and then take the best that we can around it.
But the Colonel, the administration keeps saying they have leverage over the Taliban. Do you also agree with that? Do you believe we have leverage?
We can, but it's frankly limited because, I mean, right now they're in the position of authority over over the terrain around our airport, and we are relying on them. So I'm not sure what they may be doing behind the scenes, but it's certainly possible that we could be saying, hey, we can do some things afterwards that can help you take care of the people of Afghanistan, or maybe even say, hey, if you attack us, we're going to respond in an overwhelming way that'll be well out of proportion to whatever you do, and maybe that's some of the leverage. Unfortunately, I just don't know.
Yeah. Lieutenant Colonel Daniel Davis, great to have you on, sir. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.